Hello, my name's John. This is the Basement Tapes episode 151 on That 70s Card Show. We're podcasting, we're YouTubing, and I'm living quite the collector's life. I'm fortunate that the cards that I collect and the ones I have in my collection allow me to learn each and every time I look at them or read up on them, and that's the spirit of this little series of episodes of the Basement Tapes. And I'm also fortunate there's enough friends of mine in the hobby that don't necessarily collect one thing or one type of card or one sport or even sports only. There's other stuff out there. And of course, the little surprises in the collection. Here we are in 1966 finally. And 66, every time I look at the next 10 or so episodes of what I'm about to do, I always say, wow, that's pretty cool. And wow, that's my favorite. And that's my favorite. So, what a wonderful hobby. Um, this is where it continues to give to the collector. And I'm fortunate to receive, fortunate to receive those gifts from my collection. So let's talk a little bit here about the 1966 Brooke Bond Transport Through the Ages set. It sounds bizarre. It is bizarre. And it's, boy, it certainly is a unique set of non-sports cards. Produced by Brooke Bond, according to Beckett OPG. There's 50 of them. No prices are given. Kind of a unique oddball set. Let's look at TCDB here. And there's all sorts of stuff here. And 50 cards, 1 and 7/16 inches by 2 and 11/16 inches. And this has every form of transportation up until 1966 and perhaps beyond. But let's look at some of the packaging. You can kind of see the, let's see here. Brooke Bond picture cards, Transport Through the Ages, illustrated by Richard Ward, described by Arthur G. Bourne, price 6 pence. So these are obviously cards from over the other side of the pond. Nigel Taylor submitted several pictures here on TCDB, so that just goes to tell you the provenance of the pictures submitted to TCDB. Not too many Nigels floating around anymore, folks. There was one point where I believe I read that nobody had named their kid Nigel within the last couple of years, which is sad because Nigel is as British as they come. Again, 50 cards. Let's look at the gallery because that's the only way we're going to find out more. Card number 1 is an elephant. And these are, again, kind of tobacco type cards, but they were distributed in tea bags or tea sets or boxes of tea bags, whatever you want to call it. But we'll get through this a little bit here, and then we'll read the back of the backs are kind of white with blue ink, and they're pretty classy. So let's get through this. It's 50 of them, so it shouldn't take us that long. But card number 1 is the elephant. We have the camel. We have a dog sledge, an ox wagon, a chariot, a stagecoach, a horse tram, the bicycle, kayak, galley, which is a big old boat if you're in the unknown, a horse barge, East Indiaman, which is a big old ship with some big old sails, the tea clipper, which is a bigger ship with bigger sails, the hot air balloon, the gas balloon, which is what my wife calls me, steam coach, steam wagon, the Stephenson's rocket, which appears to be some sort of steam train, a modern steam locomotive, the diesel locomotive. Man, this is just fun stuff. I'm serious. 21 is the gas turbine locomotive. 22 is the Comet, which is a quick moving one-sailed ship, apparently. 23 is the Mississippi River steamer. It's nothing like the Cleveland steamer. 24 is the Great Eastern. 25 is the Turbinia, which is I guess a turbine, steam-powered turbine ship. 26 is the modern ocean liner. 27 is the oil tanker. 28 is the electric tram. 29 is the electric locomotive. 30 is the monorail. This is getting very suspenseful. 31 is early motor car. 32 is the Bluebird, which is a really fast card. 33 is a motorcycle. 34 is a snowcat. 35 is the Wright brothers aeroplane. 36 is the airship, known as a blimp to simple-minded people like myself. 37 is the Airly airliner. That's cool. It's a little bi-winged plane there with the engines all over the place. 38 is a flying boat. 39 is a submarine Schneider trophy plane. This is not going under the water, but it's an airplane. 40 is the transport aircraft. 41 is the Westland Whirlwind HCC MK.12. That's a helicopter, folks. There is the 42 is the first turbojet airliner. 43 is the modern jet airliner. 44 is the variable wing aircraft. 45 is the mesoscaphe, which looks like a submarine. 46 is the hydrofoil. 47 is a hovercraft. 48 is a nuclear ship. 49, a nuclear submarine. And 50, a space rocket. Let's see what I can read here. Let's read about the hovercraft, if that's okay with everybody out there. It says a series of 50, number 47, Transport Through the Ages, illustrated by Richard Ward and described by Arthur G. Bourne. Hovercraft. Internal combustion. The hovercraft, as its name implies, hovers over the surface and does this by the downward draft of air that is generated by a propeller fan within the craft. The air is so compressed. The air is I can't read this. The air so compressed is trapped under the vehicle by a curtain and surrounds the underside of the craft. Sorry, it's very blurry. And so lifts it off the ground or water surface. Forward motion is supplied by engines driving air screws mounted on the outside. The world's first hovercraft, the SRN-1, invented by something engineer C. Crockett, British engineer, I guess, was operated in 1959. The card shows the Dewey D2 WJ something, which can travel at 25 knots. So sorry about that. It's a little blurry on the back of these cars, no matter how I zoom them in. The scans, they are not the best, but fun little cards, small size. Get them in your tea bags back in 1966. And tea bags, also something you shouldn't be Googling. But helicopters, camels, jet airplanes, nuclear submarines, all sorts of fun stuff, blimps. Yeah, just a lot. And there's a space rocket at the very end. So it tells you the enthusiasm and the optimism that the future holds for all people on Earth and how they transport through the ages. So 1966, Brooke Bond, Transport Through the Ages, T-cards from our friends over there in Blighty. That's Basement Tapes, episode number 151. Cheers.